Hello everyone, Boba Time Hopper here, and welcome back to the Walking Dead Randomizer Rewrite series. I know you probably weren't expecting 2 videos in a week, but I really love this series. It's easier to make than my gaming videos standardly are, and on top of all of that, the sheer number of people who commented and liked the video blows my mind. So here I am, doing another one. One last thing before we actually get started, though. I've already said it in the description of both of these videos, but if any of you have ideas for how you think the interpersonal relationships would be, or really any other ideas you have for this series, feel free to comment them. I would absolutely love to see what people's thought processes are surrounding these characters in the new situations that are coming from this series. Anyways, now we must roll for which people are out in the scavenging party that are prominent during this episode, aside from Rick and Merle, who are going to be in there regardless. This means we roll 2 main characters and 2 side characters. So let's go to the main character wheel, and let's see who it's going to be. Carol is going to be in the scavenging party. I can work with this. That's gonna be interesting. Okay. Alright. Can't be Rick. Which, probably... I shouldn't have rolled that anyway. I should shuffle. I have to shuffle after every roll. I gotta remember that. Let's see who it gets now. It's Rick again. You know what? I might just take that and say that Carol is the only main character in that group. No, I can't just do that. I need to have somebody other than Carol. You know what? That works. I'll find a way to make that work with continuity. Alright. Leon and Carol are still here. They are just going to be the 2 leading the main group out there. Who are the 2 side characters that are going to be there, though? That's going to be interesting. That's actually perfect. What do you know, T-Dog? Well, we could probably have the exact... Yeah, we could probably have the exact same interaction between T-Dog and Merle, then. Let's see who is the other side character who's going on this mission. It can't be Merle. Merle's, he's already gonna be on the mission. Come on, who are we gonna have? Boy, we just had T-Dog! The wheel seems really obsessive over these characters staying, just those 2. But it's not gonna be. We have to have somebody new. You know what, Glenn? That works perfectly. That works. Seems good to me. Just means that 90% of the people who are in this group are going to be the same ones as were there in canon. Alright. So that is Glenn, Merle, and T-Dog, as well as Carol and Leon. Alright. Let's see how we can write this. Hey everyone, yeah, hi, sorry, I'm a dipshit. I forgot somebody. I kinda need a Jackie stand-in, which I haven't added in yet. We have... not everybody we need. So I'm gonna shuffle a bunch, and now I'm gonna roll. Let's see who we get in the place of Jackie. Amy. Okie dokie. Alright, now we can actually go on and do the writing segment. Sorry for the interruption, folks. The Walking Dead, Episode 2, Guts. We start this episode where we left off the last one, with Shane dragging the deer back to camp, when suddenly the radio at the center of camp starts to go off. Dale, who was sitting by the radio while Leon was on watch, tries to respond but is unable to keep contact, so Shane steps in to try and speak to the person on the radio. When he fails and the audio gets more garbled, Shane tells Leon to try his radio as well, but they still cannot get contact. Lori says to Shane that maybe instead of hourly patrols around the perimeter or going off in hunting parties, they should be setting up signs on the highways warning people away from the cities. Leon agrees with her that maybe they could help more people, but Shane says they don't have time and that they need to focus on their own group. Lori storms off because of this, and Shane runs off to find her. Shane catches up to her near her tent and tells her she can be mad all she wants, but he is not putting her or anybody else in danger. The camp is running smoothly now, and they can't afford to have people running off all bold. Lori starts to cry, and Shane tells her that she has to stay strong for Carl, and, if it'll make her feel better, he will send out Leon. He can meet up with the scavenging team, and they can go out and set up the signs. He basically volunteered already. Lori then kisses Shane, as Carl walks over to talk to his mom. When Shane gets back to the group, he tells Leon the plan. Leon is more than willing to help out, so he heads out on foot to meet up with the scavenging group. We then see Leon walking for a bit, using the radio to find his way to the group. When he arrives, he sees that a horde of walkers is there, and Carol tells him over the radio to run to a nearby alley and climb up a ladder there. He climbs up to the roof, and on his way he sees a cop running with Glenn. Then, when the two get up to the roof, Leon is shocked to see that it is Rick. Leon runs up to Rick, catching him in a big bear hug, which shocks him, and says that he and Shane thought he was dead. Glenn asks Leon what he is doing here, and Leon tells him that Shane wants them to set up warnings on the highway that Atlanta is not safe after they finish the supply run. Glenn then says that they should get back to the others soon. They walk down the staircase into an alley which has several walkers. Leon radios the group for some support, and a duo in riot gear with bats emerge from the building and kill the walkers. Then, Rick, Leon, and Glenn rush into the building with them. Once they are all inside, T-Dog removes his helmet and questions why Leon is there, and states that Rick was stupid for attracting so many walkers with his gunshots, while Amy just tries to calm the situation down. Leon explains why he is here, and then T-Dog tries to ask Rick a bunch of questions. Leon tries to help out Rick with this and explains a little bit of their backstory, but before they can go into any further detail, they hear gunshots on the roof. They get up there to see Merle firing at walkers in the street with a scoped rifle while Carol tries to convince him to stop. Leon and T-Dog tell Merle off for wasting ammo and attracting walkers to them, but he just laughs. Merle turns to them and says that Leon is weak and stupid, and that soon enough he will have more favor with Shane than him and his, word I cannot say here, friend. T-Dog hears this and gets mad. He punches Merle square in the face before Merle starts to beat the snot out of him. Leon and Rick try to stop Merle, but Leon gets punched so hard he flies over a pipe. As Merle pulls out his gun to threaten T-Dog, however, Rick knocks Merle flat as Carol helps T-Dog up. Alright. Sorry for having to pause the episode there, because now we have reached the point where we will determine if Merle gets handcuffed to the roof or not. Getting handcuffed to the roof will probably have him continue on the same part of the story as usual. If he isn't handcuffed to the roof, I'll have to come up with some ideas. Anyways, now is time to flip. Heads, he is handcuffed to the roof. Tails, he is not. He is not handcuffed to the roof. Alright, I'm interested to see where this goes. Rick pulls Merle's weapon away and gives his handgun to Amy as Leon searches Merle and throws his drugs off the roof, angering Merle greatly. Rick gives Merle the things are different talk and then turns to Leon and asks him how Shane can stand him, with Leon responding that Shane can't. He usually just talks to his brother Daryl to get Merle to work. Merle hears this and is even more pissed, but he can't really do anything right now. After this, Rick and Leon try to make a plan. The streets are unsafe due to the massive walker horde, so Glenn suggests that they travel through the sewers. Leon asks Rick if he thinks it's a good idea to bring Merle with them, and Rick says that he doesn't know, but they can't just leave him here alone. So the group splits in two. Rick, T-Dog, and Carol stay to guard the store and Merle, while Glenn, Leon, and Amy go down to find a path through the sewers. In the store, Merle mocks T-Dog while T-Dog tries to call Shane on the radio, but gets no response. T-Dog is pissed at Merle for his constant mockery, but Rick says that he should ignore him, that Merle's just not worth it. While this occurs, Carol finds a pink sweater for Sophia, and thinks that it might be able to help Sophia when the colder months come. She also notices a mermaid necklace, mentioning to Rick that she might be able to sneak this to Andrea so that Amy can have a birthday present from her sister. Rick says Carol seems more timid than the others, and asks her why she came out on the mission. Carol goes on to explain that Shane has all of them training regularly and going on missions aside from the kids, saying that they have to keep strong. Rick doesn't believe that that's the only reason, but he doesn't push any further as he sees Carol is starting to get upset. We then cut to Glenn, Amy, and Leon, who are traveling through the sewer. Glenn asks Leon more about his past with Rick as they walk, and Leon explains about how he has always greatly respected Rick, mentioning how, before the apocalypse, he viewed Rick as his greatest role model, even mentioning how he was a bit dense before the apocalypse. Amy bumps into Leon, messing with him and saying that he's still a bit dense now, to which Leon blushes and goes on to say that Shane has taught him a lot, and that maybe now Rick would respect him as an equal. After that conversation, they came upon a grated barrier. They try to get through it at first, until a walker comes up towards them through the gate and tries to get them, and they abandon their plan of the sewers and walk back to the store. When they make it back, they see that the walkers are starting to break into the store, and they state the sewers are unsafe as well, so they all travel to the roof. Once there, Rick notices some trucks at a nearby construction site. Rick wonders if there's some way they can get there, like a distraction. Carol brings up that the walkers are like dogs, going on what they can hear. They'll also go for you if they can smell or see you. This leads Rick to an idea. He takes one of the bodies of the walkers Amy and T-Dog killed earlier in the alley and says that he thinks they can use its guts to mask their scent. Merle laughs at the idea and says he wants to see Officer Friendly hack up a man. That'd be a sight. Leon and Rick both shoot Merle a look as Carol looks away, clearly disturbed, with Amy going over to comfort her. Rick and Leon then smear the guts on themselves, crawling under the bus, blocking off the alley into the street, with not a single walker noticing them. The group at the store then returns to the roof to try and watch Rick and Leon go, while T-Dog yet again tries to contact Shane, and Merle says, "Are you calling Daddy again, dog?" And we see T-Dog walk off with the radio, whispering how he wishes he could throw Merle off the roof. We then cut to camp, where we see Dale and Jim working on the RV, as well as Daryl sitting down looking tired, as Shane tells two men to replace Daryl and another man on patrol. We then see Carl watching as Shane talks to the men, with Carl seemingly being interested in helping. Carl walks up to Shane and asks him what he can do to help, with Shane patting him on the head in response and waving Jim over. Shane asks Jim if he and Dale could use an assistant, to which Jim says sure, and Carl looks up at Shane with joy. Suddenly, the radio crackles to life, and T-Dog's message comes through, explaining that they're trapped in a store, surrounded by hundreds of walkers. Dale rushes to respond to them, but the message cuts out before he can reach them. Andrea says that she's going to have to go to Atlanta to save Amy, but Shane refuses to let her leave, saying it's just not a smart move, which leads to Andrea slapping Shane and walking off towards her own tent. Then we cut back to Atlanta, where we see Rick and Leon still sneaking through the walkers when it starts to rain badly. This washes off the guts, and Leon says that it's just his luck as a walker comes towards him. Rick kills that walker with his axe as all nearby walkers start to come for them as well. Rick and Leon run to the construction site as fast as they can and hop the fence to get in the van. Rick shoots at the walkers while Leon looks for keys, finding them just as the walkers knock down the fence and charge at them. From the roof, Glenn looks on in shock before Merle stands and snatches the binoculars and yells, "Them bastards are leaving us!" As they drive, Rick tells Leon to call the group on the radio, telling them to go downstairs and that they're coming to get them, with Rick saying that he'll have to find a distraction. Leon, as a response, says he found one, as he opens the door of the van and shoots out the windows of several cars as their alarms all start to go off. They then drive to the back entrance of the store to pick up the others, and as they drive away from the city, cheering and thanking Rick for the save, Rick explains that it was Leon's idea to use the cars as a distraction, which is met with Amy smiling and saying that maybe he's not so dense after all. With that, the episode ends. Hello, everyone. This may seem a bit disjointed as an outro because And that's because it is. That is because it is. I have been editing for like the last 5 hours, only to realize I had not made a outro for this video yet. I hope you guys enjoyed the story of this episode. I still didn't make all that many changes, mostly because the choices that we've had so far haven't yet had a chance to compound into new arcs or stories quite yet. But with what's happening with Merle, I mean, that's probably going to start happening now. I could see the Merle situation getting very interesting, and I think you guys will enjoy it a lot. I would also like to mention that these videos will vary in length a lot more than I had initially said in my first video, because when I was writing for this episode, I realized it was the script was almost 1,800 words by the time I finished writing it. And I thought about it, and with all of the stuff I'm going to want to add into certain episodes or take out of certain episodes, I have no idea how long they will be. Probably you should assume they'll be on the longer side of my original estimate, especially if I have like multiple roles in an episode and all that stuff. Anyways, I would also like to thank you guys all for commenting and liking, if I haven't done that already. You all have been extremely supportive of this series so far, and my friends also seem to love this damn near as much as I do. So I'll be dedicating a lot of time to it. It won't take nearly this long for the next video to come out. New Star Killer. I know that I already answered this in the comments of the last video, but for those who did not see my response, yes, I will be doing chaos rolls if things get too far off from canon, especially in a more dangerous way. There's a couple of scenarios that I have already made possible for this season and later that could end up being just the way worse option than what we originally got. Anyways, I think that is everything I had to say. I should probably end the video here and catch some Z's before I pass out. So, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye!